What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer taking a look at this pure Utopia deck. I guess that's probably the best way to describe it. I'll talk about a few things that you might want to change or look at. This is probably not going to be my final list that I take to YCS. There's probably going to be a few things that shift around, but I would say in general, this is 90% of what my deck is going to look like when I take it to a tournament. So I like to start off with 2 Ash Blossom. I don't know. I just feel like this is the most common card, and you want to you open this and cross out, and your opponent ashes you. It's such a bad feeling. I used to have the same mentality with Infinite Impermanence, but I do now tech in 1 copy of Dark Ruler, so I'm willing to take the risk because I feel like for some reason just Ash is more popular, and it's like definitely a card that hits tier. You know, like sending 5 to the graveyard. It's something that you can Ash, which can be really important. Just depends on the matchup. If your opponent doesn't have gas, it can kind of be the icing on the cake. This is probably something that you may think like, oh, you probably play 1 and play another different hand trap. I'm not sure. It's just every time I play Crossout, I always play at least 2 of these. Imperm, DD Crow, Ghost Bell. These cards are like decent against tier, like I guess just in general, but they do hurt you quite a bit. Maybe DD Crow you would switch out for the rank 4. I think it's called Skull something, Skullmeister. I think it's Skullmeister. Yeah. I mean, that'd be kind of cool because it is at least a level 4. If that's worth anything, I don't know. I just always think of DD Crow first, but I guess it would probably be a better pick to do this. And then Ghost Spell, like you're always special summoning back from the graveyard, so this actually does hurt you like quite a bit, and it can kind of like end your plays. So it's just another target for Crossout Designator, but you can't play too many of these cards because consistency is like king, and you need to see multiple rank 4s in your name to combo at all. So that's why like most of your deck has to be like combo pieces, or else it just kind of doesn't work. So this is about as small as it's gonna get, and there's obviously flaws with this deck. I'm not gonna take this like a YCS and win. I just you want to give yourself the best chance to win. And mainly, like what you're worried about the most is going first, right? You're probably not going to break a lot of boards, with Crossout Designator in, and you're going to side those out and play more powerful cards. But like you want to have your main deck situated as if you're going first, because going first always gives you the best chance to win, like no matter the situation. I run 1 copy of Utopia. You kind of run 3 copies in this, and what I mean is what you're usually searching is either XYZ change tactics or numbers protection, mostly numbers protection. The reason I like to play this deck maybe over the water version, which I still haven't decided yet. I also play like a water XYZ. It's essentially the same thing with a different main deck. And well, you have different access to cards in your extra deck, like totally awesome. But what I like about this version is that they have a searchable out to Dark Ruler, which is going to be your opponent's main out. Lava Golem is also going to be one of those, but there's some things you can't play around everything. There's just no way unless you like triple tactics talent. Maybe that's like the best road to take for me. I'm not sure, but I do like having outs to Dark Ruler, and there's like 3 here, 1 here. Reinforcement of the Army. This is a warrior monster, and you have a copy of itself, so you technically have 6 main deck outs to Dark Ruler, which is kind of cool, and that's kind of the reason I'm playing this version of it more. So this is Dodo. So now getting into like the Onomat kind of pieces here. This is Dodo Go 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 Glove. The names are all silly, but this is a free special summon from the hand and a bring back from the graveyard. Very good card. Now this is where you may want to change it. I think right now I'm running 3 Go 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 Gigas. So the problem, like this is an extender, and it becomes a level 4. If it was already a level 4, I don't think there would even be a decision, because I always worry, like, if your opponent does have Imperm, you don't have the answer for it, or like, let's say, Effect Veiler. Like you want to be able to like get some bodies on board, and this does that. If you control a Gaga monster, which is what this is, which is I think what this is as well. Zubaba, which is all searchable with Onomatopoeia, which is also the same card as Onomat Pickup because it searches this. But this card, Go 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 Gigas, represents 2 bodies. Like you freely special summon it from the hand through one way or another. Unfortunately, like this can't summon it. You would think like all of these cards are all like perfectly synergized with each other, but there's like 4 different types, and there are very specific things that you have to do with them. So like this can't bring out Go 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 Gigas from the hand. And this also is just kind of like a flat body in your hand if you can't get it out, because you don't want to use your normal summon on this card. So there's definitely some strengths and weaknesses, to say the least. But yeah, I think I may stick up running these at 3 just because it creates a higher ceiling, or you could run both of these at 3 and go over 40 cards. At that point, I don't know. Like, you want to give yourself the most chance to see Crossout Designator and Called By just to protect your combo. So I don't really know what's worth it in the end, but I think it's worth noting, like what I said there. This is Gigantus, and you would think like this is a random card, but no, it's a free special summon. All you have to do is banish an Earth monster from your graveyard. This is an Earth monster. This is an Earth monster as well. It's searchable off of Gallic Granite. So if you haven't seen my combo video, essentially what happens is you search this card off of it, and then you use Gallic Granite to go into your F-Zero. I tried to think of an extender, like number 62 Garis, which is unfortunate because it's a numbered monster, so you can't use it with Utopic Future. So this is the second best thing. Also, if you already have all the pieces that you need, you can also search Nibiru, which is pretty cool in case you get, Dark Rulered. Kind of puts a lot of pressure on your opponent through multiple different ways. So that's just kind of how that works. So the rest of the Onomat stuff is Utopic, Onomatopoeia. This is an Onomat card, and it also counts as all 4 names. It's the best card in the main deck. It's not even close. It freely special summons out multiples. It's just really, really good. Ascended Sages is just a free starter. You always want to see this in your opening hand because it helps you go through a lot of different lines of plays. Besides just being a rank 4 body, I almost feel like you can play this in so many different decks because it represents 2 interruptions, which is so good by itself, right? As long as there's another 4, it represents 2 disruptions, and that's just really, really, really good. It's also accessible from the extra deck, or from the main deck, I should say, through Utopic Sage. 3 Zubaba Bancho Gaga Coat. This card is an extender from the hand. It also brings something back from the graveyard. Works so good with Gigas and Go 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 Glove. It's just unreal. Called by the Grave, 3 cross out. Cards you just kind of have to play. Dark Ruler no more. So this is like the out, right? You always want to have one. You always want to have the answers the best that you can, because if your opponent's only thing going second is Dark Ruler no more, like they're cooked, because you're putting up a bunch of interruption, especially against Tearlament. Galaxy Cyclone. You may be wondering, let's kind of random, like, why one copy of this? This is a Galaxy card, something that you can attach off of number 90 Galaxy Photon Lord, which is just very, very good because you get to grab it from the deck, use it, right? You use it as material for Photon Lord, and when you attach a Galaxy card for Photon Lord, it destroys and doesn't just negate, and also it puts it into the graveyard, meaning that you get to destroy face-up spells and traps, which can be great against the field spells. I'm thinking of other cards like Skill Drain. Like, I think going into a tournament, you never know what you're going to face in those beginning rounds. like Onomat, right? Like, I'm playing something normal, but I'm just saying, like, those continuous spells, this could be like one of your only answers to it, and it's searchable from the deck. It really is. It really is searchable from the deck for the most part, or it's just interruption, right? Or it's just something you destroy someone's face down card, and that works out pretty well too. This is the rank up magic. It's never really terrible to see in your opening hand, especially if your opponent tries to like imperm you to search, like with Ascended Sage or whatever the case may be. If you just have this in any rank 4, like any 2/4 equal kind of the 2 negate combo with number 99. Onomatopoeia searches 2. I wish it searched more, to be honest with you. It's just how crazy that you would think that searching 2 bodies is always going to be enough. It just depends. If you have one other body in your hand, it usually does make a pretty big difference. But this is the best search card. Another reason why I think I'm playing this over the water version, it's just more consistent, right? Like, seeing 2 bodies most of the time is going to get you full combo. And then this card, which is really, really good, is also searchable through Automatic Pickup. But if you already have Onomatopoeia in your hand, Automatic Pickup can also just search Utopic Onomatopoeia. It's so funny saying these names, but yeah. That's why I really like this deck, because these 3 cards are really, really, really good. And also Reinforcing the Army. It's a really good pivot point. So this is a warrior monster, this is a warrior monster, and this is. So if you have any of those in your hand, you get to search something else. I wish this card was at 3. The deck would be insane. It would be so crazy if this card was. But unfortunately, it's not. And I guess it kind of makes sense. Although I don't know. I'd rather see it off the ban list to see what's so bad about it that you can't use it anymore. Like, I can't think of any warrior monsters that would be just totally abused by this. If not, it would just help rogue strategies. But that's a story for another time. I don't know. I've taken out XYZ change tactics and put it in a few times. It's just when you draw it, it's so crazy. More than likely you're going to draw it into like another form of interruption, which is obviously just very good. And it just kind of out resources your opponent, and that's kind of like the cool thing about this deck. And it's also like, if you have members in your hand, you have Astrotopia, you can just search something else on top of that, and that's just going to give you a draw 3. It's so hard to deny yourself a draw 3 because it's so good. Impermanence for cross out, and then numbered protection I've talked about. This is the out 2 Dark Ruler. Going on into the side deck. So Pallades and Hard Earth. I'm going in, like, when going into the next few tournaments, whatever they are, hoping to go in February. Like, the main thing you got to have here is like anti-tier stuff, and that's where the Tellarknight things come in. But if you're not playing that and you're playing Dynamorphia or you're playing a back row deck, you got to have some sort of other strategy. You know what I mean? You got to have some sort of other answer. Pallades bounces something back. That's just like universally good, obviously. And then this is the card that really ties it all together. I mean, my goodness. Hard Earth Dragon, if your opponent sets 5 and they try to pass, they have now banished face. You know, they just banished everything. And they just lose. So if you're playing any back row deck, this is an auto win card. So I think that's just really, really good, you know, kind of tool to have. I love these 2 cards. It's a really good pivot point for the deck. This is Evenly Matched and Lightning Storm, 2 Dark Ruler. I think this is pretty standard stuff. I am trying to face tier, right? That's my main goal. But if I need to face a back row deck, like, this is what these cards are for. And also, these are just generally good. I feel like you need to try to be prepared for the most matchups possible. I don't think this is the best side deck ever made, of course, but I think this isn't too crazy to see in any one sideboard. Harpy's Feather Duster, it's just a very good card. It's a good blowout card. Also, like, you only need a 1-of, right? Like, what are those 1-ofs you're going to have? Because I play so many, like, singular cards, like Dark Ruler, so you got to have a replacement for that one slot in your side deck, and I think what better than Harpy's Feather Duster could easily win you a duel depending on who you're playing. 3 Raigeki, I think this is just something that people really aren't playing around. There's not a lot of Omni Negates going around the format right now, especially tier. This can really hurt them depending on, you know, what they end with. And I think it's kind of a good card. And it is what it is. You could probably play any limitless other number of cards with this. And then Change of Heart. I like to play this card against Exo Sister. These cards too are also good against Exo Sister, by the way. But if your opponent just has like any of those Exo Sister XYZ monsters, well, you get to just use it yourself for F0, which is, and also get rid of their interruption, which is more important. And also there's that quick effect monster that banishes something, and you don't want to have that happen. So if you start with Change of Heart, you're giving yourself a rank 4 that you need for F0, which could just do so many good things for you. Extra deck, I'll just go through these quickly. It's pretty standard stuff, I feel like. Zeus, you just need Zeus. I talked about Gallic Granite. Number 38 is one of your targets with number 99, of course, and the other one is now number 90, Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. So your spell and your monster negate. I talked about how cool this card is because it searches Galaxy Cyclone. And number 39, Utopia, that goes with number S39, right? You want to be able to rank up and use 2 of the number 99 abilities. Also, these are all Utopia cards, all 3 of these, and that's where the draw 3 comes in for XYZ Change Tactics. F-Zero package, very, very good. A non-destructionable monster negate that takes if it's on the field. And then, you know, this is the MVP of the deck. This is the newly unbanned, well, not Diamond, Stellar Knight Constellar Diamond. That goes with Stellar Knight Triver because you want to be able to get that 3rd material. You don't want to go use 3 of your monsters to go into Ptolemaeus, right? You can just get that free extra body here with Triver and use it for Ptolemaeus, which is now coming off of the ban list, which lets you go into something that is just the anti-tier card, of course. This is actually pretty interesting. Well, I guess I probably would be playing Mud Dragon. I was just trying to say, like, I just hate Super Poly. I hate that card so much, and it's just gonna beat you. You know what I mean? And I think you just have to live with that. I mean, this is a 3 package for like anti-tier, and this is where you kind of like undo these things, obviously. But the only like problem is, like, I guess you could really just play Abyss Dweller. Like, is it really that worth it? I don't know yet. Like, that's yet to be seen. Obviously, I'm not really sure like where I fall on it. I would just imagine this card's just a little bit better, right? I would think this card's just kind of better to have Constellar Diamond. You can't send any cards to the graveyard. And you don't want them to get their shuffle backs into the graveyard, like, because that just hurts you too, and hurts everything. You know, Abyss Dweller doesn't stop that necessarily. And this is like the entire time while it's face up on the field too. So I'm not sure. I like it because it's coming off the ban list. I think it's fun to play. Like, I guess more than anything, it's kind of fun to play newly unbanned cards. But obviously, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But, you know, if you only play Abyss Dweller, it gives you opportunities to play something else. You know, like going into like a win rank 4, the one that shuffles back into the deck, or Tornado Dragon is also pretty good. Like, it just gives you more opportunities for that. And that's kind of where I felt also on the Zodiac stuff too. This obviously gives you the ability to go into a 2-pop Zeus and also attack your opponent directly, getting over a lot of stuff. But I don't know. I've seen a lot of problems with it too. If your opponent just gets rid of it, then you just wasted a bunch of materials basically for no reason. So I kind of, what I think I may end up doing, and I kind of feel like I'm a little dedicated to this, is Exciton Knight, and then also playing Tornado Dragon. Like 1 pop from Zeus normally is enough, right? Like let's say you go into Tornado Dragon to pop the back row and it's imperm. Well, at least you can still pop the rest of it versus just your Zeus getting impermed at the end. And that's kind of the problem. So, like I said, I think Exciton Knight and then Tornado Dragon are probably just like objectively better than this. Or if you really wanted to, you could change those out, right? Just do Abyss Dweller, Exciton Knight, and Tornado Dragon, or any other rank 4 that could pop up into your head. Those are just more options that you can do when it comes to this deck profile. Again, I'm not like dedicated to I would say 90% of this deck is probably what I'm taking with me to a tournament, especially the side deck and it's most of the main deck cards. I mean, the main deck pretty much just comes down to Gaga Godchild and Go 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 Gigas. And then my extra deck essentially just comes down to whether or not I'm going to play the Tellarknight cards, which I just haven't quite decided yet, but you can decide for yourself. I think this is a pretty good to go list as far as lists go. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.